Every drummer needs a good practice pad. Whether you're warming up before a gig or squeezing in some quiet practice time away from home, a pad is one of the simplest yet most valuable tools a drummer can own. But not all practice pads are created equal, and with so many options at very different price points, it can be hard to know which ones are actually worth your money. So today I've got 10 different practice pads to test out, and I've spent some time playing each one. I'll be judging them based on their feel, rebound, volume, build quality, and overall value too. There's a good variety here, with a mix of different playing surfaces and textures, and a few of these pads really surprised me. So whether you're buying your first practice pad or looking for an upgrade, there's something here for everyone. We'll be starting with the most budget-friendly option and working our way up to the most expensive. Let's get right into it. The Meinl 4-inch knee practice pad weighs just 160 grams, and I specifically picked this up to take with me whilst traveling. It has an adjustable strap for your knee, and it uses a rubber playing surface which is relatively quiet. This tiny pad gives you a lot of rebound. The extra pop keeps your hands lively, though it can feel a bit over-responsive. I also do find myself adjusting my natural shoulder position slightly to accommodate its placement on my knee. As a pad for on the go, it's a good option. Considering how little it costs and how convenient it is to take around, I think it's a decent buy. I'll give it a 6.5 out of 10. The ahead stick-on pad is also very lightweight at 187 grams, and this has a sticky gel backing that makes it stay in place on a desk, tabletop, or a snare drum. The rubber playing surface has that quick, snappy feel, but it's a touch softer and slightly more forgiving under the sticks than the previous pad. There's also a red rubber rim around the edge, which gives you that feeling of rim shots without the volume. At 6 inches across and weighing so little, it's super portable, and because it sticks directly to a surface, it doesn't need its own base or stand. For the price, I think this is a great pad for on-the-go practice, and it's nice and quiet too. I'll give it a 7 out of 10. The Remo Silent practice pad surprised me with how close it feels to a real snare. It has a Remo Silent stroke mesh head, which feels really nice to play, and it's also super quiet. What I like is that there's a slight give under the stick, and it's more forgiving on your hands than firmer pads are. At the same time, it still gives you a natural level of rebound, especially once it's tightened up. There's also a plastic rim around the edge, which lets you practice rim shots, and they won't destroy your sticks like metal or sharper rims. You can place it directly on a table with its non-slip base, or mount it to a cymbal stand using the included thread. I like that it's also lightweight compared to other pads of this size. If you want something that feels realistic without spending a fortune, this is a solid pick. It's lightweight, quiet, and it's satisfying to play. I'll give it an 8 out of 10. This Vic Firth practice pad has two sides to it. The main side is made of a soft rubber and has a nice bounce to it. It's what you'd expect from a typical gum rubber surface, so you get that familiar, bouncy, high-tuned snare-like feel. But I didn't really like the other side, which is a harder rubber. It's louder and it doesn't feel great to play on for me personally. It's far too stiff. Still, for the price, it's decent enough. It's a quiet, compact, and handy practice tool. It's not my top choice, but plenty of drummers would find this useful. I'll give it a 6. The Tama SP9 is your standard no-fuss practice pad. It's not the flashiest option out there, but it offers a familiar playing feel and it's relatively quiet and affordable too. It gives you that classic rebound that's not too lively but responsive enough. I actually think this one strikes a really nice balance. It's a great size for a main pad, but still way lighter than most others this big, so it's definitely easy to take on the go. If you're after a straightforward pad that does the job, it's a good buy. Just not the most exciting option in this lineup. I'll give it a 6.5 out of 10. The Moongel workout pad's an interesting option. It's designed with a specific purpose, which is to give your hands a real workout. It has almost no rebound, so you really have to work hard to get clean and precise strokes. It's not the kind of pad you want to practice on all of the time, but as a secondary pad, to build your hand speed, endurance, and control, it is fantastic. When moving on to a standard pad after using this, your hands will be flying. It's also very quiet and it's compact too. You can either mount it on a cymbal stand or just use it on your tabletop. If you're looking to boost your chops, this is a really solid tool worth adding to your setup. It's just not the most versatile and it is more expensive than other pads of this size, so I'll give it a 7.5 out of 10. The Meinl Marshmallow pad's become my main practice tool since I first got it at launch. I've got a dedicated pad stand for it, but it also works great on a snare or a desk with this non-slip underside. I personally love this pad. It's made from a super thick foam and it's got a really satisfying feel under the sticks. In terms of rebound, it sits right in the sweet spot. It's thicker and quieter than snappier rubber pads like the ones featured before, yet springier than workout pads like the Moongel. Its texture reminds me of the Zildjian Reflexx, which I'll get onto shortly, and it definitely has a similar build quality as well. It's one of the most quiet pads I've used. It gives a soft thud with no harsh top end at all. And overall, I just think it's an exceptional pad. I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10. The Evans RealFeel is one of the most recognizable and widely used pads out there. It's built like a tank too. I can see the appeal, it gives you a good rebound, it's pretty lively but not crazy over the top with a bounce back. That said, it is rather firm. A real drum head gives you some natural give and flex, but the surface on this is very dense. Where it really stands out though is its stick articulation. You get a quiet yet clear tone off it and it gives you great feedback whilst you're playing, so every stroke is nicely defined. I still think some of the newer pads like the Meinl Marshmallow or Zildjian Reflexx offer a softer feel that's easier on your hands. But I've still got a lot of respect for the Evans RealFeel. It's dependable, durable, good value, and a great pad to build your chops. I'll give it a 7.5 out of 10. The Zildjian Reflexx pad is one of my absolute favorites. It has two really good playing surfaces, both of which are super quiet and feel great under your hands. The Reflexx side gives you this nice, realistic feel, not overly springy, but with enough rebound to make it still feel natural. It's ever so slightly less bouncy than a real snare in terms of feel. And then when you flip the pad over, you get this work side, which is a uniquely soft material with virtually no rebound whatsoever, which really forces you to build up your technique and endurance. I think the contrast between both sides makes this a really effective practice tool. The 10-inch size gives you plenty of playing surface and it's still compact enough to easily carry around with you. The materials feel easy on your hands, way more forgiving than firmer rubber pads, and both sides are very quiet as well, which is super important. Honestly, I don't know what I'd change about this one. It's versatile, quiet, and just really satisfying to play. Although it's not the cheapest, considering what it offers, I think it still offers really good value. I'll give it a 9.5 out of 10. The Tama TrueTouch is the most expensive pad in this lineup, and it's noticeably heavier than all the other pads I tested. It's designed to emulate a real snare, and it produces a sound that mimics snare wires, giving you a quiet but noticeable buzz whilst you play. You can dial in your tension of the head with the drum key. I cranked mine up quite a bit to get a decent response. It's cool, but it still doesn't feel as responsive as a real snare. I do quite like the rubber-coated raised hoop though, so you can play rim shots with this. It's worth mentioning that this is the loudest pad in the lineup, quite a bit louder than any other pad I tested. Personally, it's a bit too loud and bulky for my needs, and it is quite expensive, but I can see its appeal if you really want something with that true snare interaction. I'll give it a 6 out of 10. And that's a wrap, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you found this video helpful. Let me know if you own any of these practice pads, or if there's any others you like playing. My favorite pad for the money is the Meinl Marshmallow, and at the top end, it's the Zildjian Reflexx. And if you're looking to spend less, I recommend either the Remo Silent Stroke or Evans RealFeel. If you want to check any of them out, I've added links in the description below. And if you haven't already, be sure to like and subscribe to stay up to date with my latest content. Thanks again for watching. I'm Gideon from drumhelper.com, and I'll catch you in the next video.